Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm your host, Tanya. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm so happy to have you all back. I don't know, I need to give you time to get on, but that's okay. In the meantime, I have a special guest with me tonight who has been in recovery for a long time. I call him my brother from a past life. He's the awesomest person, and he has a beautiful soul. Please welcome my friend Justin Mantel. Justin!
Hey
Woo!
everybody, how are you?
Up, man. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a while, huh?
No, listen, it's been 2 years, right?
It's
Of
yeah, we've been
Relapse.
we've
I
been
think
through a
we
lot.
talked the
What?
beginning of the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, a few months before the pandemic started.
Wow. So
Yeah.
see, look at
Yep.
that. See, I am so happy to have you here because I want to talk all things addiction and recovery and God. And I think you're the perfect person to do it. Only your energy can match mine. So first time while I hit up your page and tell your friends where to go, I need you to tell me, just give people just a brief history of your story so they can understand why we're talking. By the way, everybody, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, and neither is Justin. But here's two things. I was an addiction specialist for over 15 years. I have a case act T. That's my only form of training. So I have no official whatever PhDs, whatever. But I've lived life. I'm the child of an addict. I was born an addict baby. Justin is in recovery, has been in recovery, has been done the whole gamut. So we're really into people healing people. That's it. Period. There's no special magic tricks coming out of a bag. This is it. This is what you're gonna get.
Yep.
So if you're into trying to figure out how to stay sober, how to help your friends that are not sober, how to help parents who are not sober, this is probably where you want to be right now. So thank you for tuning in. Justin, you're the best. Go ahead, share your story with us
So,
real quick.
so before we start, I really feel compelled to definitely have a moment of silence for these innocent people in Ukraine and what's going on over there. You know, looking at that makes me really grateful for the country that we live in. We have our problems, things suck, but I mean, we have it pretty good. We're not, buildings aren't being blown up, and it's a very scary thing. And I just, my heart goes out to them. And so please, let's just have a moment of silence for them.
Let's do that.
All right. Hello, everybody. I am Justin Mantel. I am a recovering alcoholic and drug addict, a grateful one at that. I will qualify, I guess, a little bit. I'm not going to tell you any war stories because most people that probably are going to listen have been there. Jail's institution and almost death for me. I've been in and out of recovery for a long time. I started my real journey in 2019 is when things started to click and I started to kind of grasp what was going on and that's where it started. On Saturday will be 6 months sober. I had a relapse.
Yay! Not yay the relapse. No. Hey, listen, we take one day at a time. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's
so
it.
I in 2020, right before the lockdown started, I had celebrated my first year of sobriety. 3 days later, I found my sister dead from a fentanyl overdose in our bathroom with my fiance and my cousin Sarah. I'm not going to go into that, but anyways, so I was already starting to kind of push away, and my first year of recovery, I was desperate and I wanted to get sober and all that stuff. And there was unsureties and fears and all that kind of stuff. I started to do service work and it was a good thing. It made me feel good. But what I allowed it to do was make my head big, and it stopped me from remaining teachable. I thought I friggin' knew everything, and I didn't. And the one thing I sure the hell didn't know how to handle was finding my sister dead. By the grace of God, I was able to be the brother to her that I never was. I'm grateful for that. It was a very hard time. 6 weeks later, my best friend died, fentanyl overdose. 5 days later, an awesome person. He was 24 years old. He probably would have been the next Juice WRLD if anybody knows who Juice WRLD is.
Yes, I know who Juice WRLD is.
This kid was amazing, and Juice WRLD was one of his favorite guys. He produced all his own music. I have some of it. But anyways, then my fiance's father died because of COVID.
I remember that. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
My fiance, her alcoholism was going crazy, and my alcoholism and addictive behavior started to come out because I wasn't going to meetings.
Right.
I was working and coming home. I would stop doing the work.
Right.
I'm going to tell anybody
Important.
that gets sober, if you stop doing the work and you stop staying connected, you will go back out. It may not be right away. It took a months for me to go back out, but I did. Right. And I'm not ashamed of it. It happens, or it happened.
Right.
Now I think I'm better equipped to handle handle life a lot better. I have a great sponsor, and the 12 steps are a very crucial thing for people like me.
Yes, very crucial. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I find that what leads you to recovery is the same things that you got to remember to stay in recovery.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel. I feel sometimes we get so caught up in the world, people, places, and things that we think like, oh, I'm good. I'm fine. I can do this. I got this. And then the next thing you know, you're in a whirlwind and you're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Absolutely. So, and the way I work this is how I view my sobriety and my faith, or my connection to God. So if I want to stay sober, right? Like I have to do these things. I have to be of service. Right. I don't have to, but I want to be of service, because that is something that fills that spiritual hole that people like me carry. Right. Addiction and alcoholism, to me, in my experience, for me, it starts with the spirit.
Yes.
Everything is connected to the spirit. So if your spirit is sick, then your brain and your body are going to be sick. So, and this is something that I'm just coming to now that I didn't see before. And being humble is a very, very big part for me. I have an ego. I'm self-centered. I'm selfish. I could be a real son of a bitch. Excuse my language. Right. And if I don't do these things, if I don't have a sponsor and I don't talk to them every day, if I'm not doing a grateful list every day, and a grateful list is a beautiful thing, because it keeps you grateful. It keeps your heart grateful. I heard in a meeting the other day, a grateful heart will never drink or drug. I think that's true. But there's other things that go along with it. You have to keep doing the work. So that's how I feel about my relationship with Christ. If I'm not praying, if I'm not talking about him, if I'm not looking into things, Jesus doesn't want us to be stupid. And, he talks about in, last days and stuff, like that his people will be fooled for lack of knowledge. Right. Because we're lazy, and I'm guilty of it. I'm very guilty of it. So
not you, everybody.
I can't sit here and preach and say I read the Bible every day and I get on my knees and every day, because I don't. Right. I'm just an average guy trying. Not even try. I hate that word. That's another thing. Take that word "try" out of your vocabulary, because when you're trying, you already admitted that you're going to fail. So that's a good point. And then the other thing that I like too is instead of saying things are a problem, and when you use that word problem, it blows things up. It makes it I don't know, it does something to, at least for me, for my brain. When you say problem, I get that sinking feeling. But if it's a situation or an issue, then there's a way for there to be a solution. For me at least. So I try to keep those words out of my, and but is another big one. Anything after but is bullshit, right?
We know those ones.
My fiance taught me that one.
That's not a good one. So what do you think when it comes to relapse again? Is it people, places, things, or just what's being complacent in and
so it can, for me in my experience, it can be all of those things. With my experience of my last relapse, it was because I isolated. I stopped. I stopped doing the work. I've always believed this, but I believe this more today than I ever have. The opposite of addiction is connection. I'm connected now. Like I'm connected with, I have a great sponsor. My fiance's in the 12-step program. I have friends that are in the, like I work with great people that know that I'm in recovery and
People like me that pester you.
You don't pester me at all. I love talking to you. You're one of my favorite people.
What's up? What you doing? I don't care. What you doing?
And you know when I'm not. I mean, people that know me know probably when I'm not doing good, because the behavior is that I stop reaching out.
Right.
And I just isolate. I shut down.
Right.
And I can't do that anymore. Because now I got to say these last 6 months have been a blessing. I almost lost my fiance when she got out of rehab. She broke up with me because, I mean, she didn't know that I had slipped up or anything, but she could tell that something was wrong and I wasn't acting right and things weren't good at all. And then we had to move out of our condo because the condo we were renting, the owner was selling it. So we had a very short time to figure things out, and we had to live under the same roof for a few weeks there, and it was rough. I mean, it was rough, and I had started my new job. Right. Thank God my job is a driving job, because I was able to I literally was on the phone with my mother for 4 hours, crying and freaking out, I'm gonna lose, I lost her, and I mean, I really love her, and we've been through a lot together, and I believe that God puts people in our path for a reason, and he obviously put her and I together for a reason, and I wasn't willing to give up, but I had to stop and take a look at myself. And that was what I wasn't doing, was looking at myself and taking my inventory. I was taking everybody else's and sitting on my high horse.
Woo! Say it again. I was taking everybody else's and hit what?
Sitting on my high horse, and today, I want to be humble. I want to be honest. I want to be a responsible man. I want to be an adult. I want to be the man that God wants me to be. I want to be
how you found God, or how He found you.
So when God found me, I was a piece of coal, and He's working on me. And one day I'm going to be that diamond, man, for real. Wow. He chips away every day a little bit of that coal off of me. And some days are harder than others, and some days are good. I was introduced to Christ, at about 7 or 8 years old. My father, who was Jewish, bat mitzvah and everything. He had an overwhelming feeling and reached out to some people that he knew believed in Jesus, and he went with it. And he brought our family to Christ. And I had understanding and whatever. I don't have the understanding that I do now, obviously. I want to be baptized again and stuff, because I know some things, I know some things now. And, I had obviously lost my faith in God and with the things that I was doing, they call alcohol spirits for a reason. Right. It opens you up. Yes. For spirits. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at some of these old, rituals and stuff like that, there's alcohol used in them. There's a reason for it. It's a conduit of some sort. I don't understand it. I can't get it, but they call it spirits for a reason. Right. Anyways, and same thing with drugs and stuff. Do you know that the word pharmacy actually comes from the Greek word pharmakia? And what pharmakia means in Greek is sorcery. Okay, so I mean, look at what drugs and alcohol do to people. Yes, that's to me that's a lot. That's a big. So it was a paradigm shifter for me, actually. Wow. But I stopped. At one time I was starting to believe that aliens may have made us on Mars and deported us here so that we can mine gold and whatever. Because I was searching and I was seeking. I didn't know that I was, but I was. Right. Then when my dad died in 2016, I had a really, really hard time with that, and I ended up moving down to Georgia a year later, and I got mixed up with the meth and all that stuff. But I was seeking God, and I was watching some things on YouTube that caught my eye, and I started listening to these guys. And so, I mean, I was listening, but I don't think I was really sure or anything like that. And but I started getting further into it. And what really brought me to my strong belief in Christ is the book of Enoch. Oh, Enoch. Okay. And I mean, that book is amazing. People don't consider it part of the Bible, and that's fine and good. I'm not here to debate that or anything like that.
Right.
But what the book of Enoch did for me was it gave me context to some things in the Bible that just didn't make any sense to me. I needed some more information.
Okay.
And you know, I heard a scripture the other day. I think it was in John, where he said that if he wrote about the miracles that Jesus did on earth, the world couldn't hold the books. Right? You know what I'm saying? So we got to think that, you know, there was other people here and other creations and other beings that weren't, you know, put in the Bible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you're grounded in the Bible and you start looking at these other books, you know, the Apocryphas, Jasher actually is Book of the Upright, and that's actually spoken about in the Bible. We don't know if it is that book, but there's some things in there that are good, and it says out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, that's where the truth is. If you hear it out of 2 or 3 witnesses, then it's probably the truth, you know, or not probably, it's definitely the truth. So, you know, when I listen to these guys, they're grounded in the Bible, but they look at the Agamadi Codex and the Adventures of Gilgamesh and all that stuff, and it actually all kind of aligns. You know what I'm saying? It's like a big history lesson, and I love history. And so these are the things that brought me to God. And another thing that I don't speak about much when I share with anybody is what happened to me when I was in Georgia. Okay. I had to walk about 2 miles from a hotel that I slept outside of in the middle of December. This is my fiance, everybody.
Hey, what's up, Mike? How are you?
And I walked to this Walmart, and this girl was coming to pick me up, and so we could go do drugs. And I needed to charge my phone. And there was like a outlet right on the wall outside of Walmart. Thank God for the down south Walmarts.
Wow. So outside. Wait,
I'm sitting on the bench with my phone plugged in, and just, you know, I'm, you know, waiting for, you know, my ride to come. And I'm sitting there, and when I first get there, and I had a suitcase. Like, I walked with like a suitcase and a duffel bag like over my shoulder.
Wow.
with a brown leather Italian trench coat. And then a black top coat. That's how cold it was. I had like frostbite on my face from sleeping outside. Yeah. And I was probably all of like 100 and like maybe 80 pounds or something when at that time. Yeah, it's not pretty. It doesn't look good on a 6'4" guy.
Are you 6'4", Justin?
I'm 6'4", yeah.
Oh my God. I would have never guessed you. Oh my God, it really does. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm 6'4". So anyways, I'm sitting at this. I get there, and this lady pulls up, and she's like, "Hey, are you all right?" Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right." And, you know, I kind of, I guess, looked like a bum or whatever, you know. And she was like, "You know, are you on drugs or anything?" I said, I have been doing drugs, but I'm not doing any drugs today, and I'm not trying to get any." And, you know, because I already knew that this girl was coming with drugs, so
I didn't need any extra.
Yeah, I didn't need anything. It was all free for me. When I hung out with those people, so she gives me like $3. She's like, "Here, this is all the money that I have. But I want you to go get a candy bar and something to drink." I was like, "Thank you so much." I hadn't eaten in like 2 days. So I go inside, I grab something to drink, and I grab a Snickers bar, and I'm sitting out there, and I'm waiting. And I see this lady, and she's, you know, she got out of her car, and she's like walking towards, you know, the door, and I'm sitting there, and she looks at me, and I smile. I say, "Hello, miss, how are you?" And she said, "I'm good, how are you?" And she goes inside, and so then, you know, I'm still sitting there. It's been like, you know, a half hour. She comes back out, and I see her leave. So I'm really fiending for a cigarette. I don't have a cigarette. And I see this guy who's probably about, I don't know, 250 feet. He's at the other entrance. So there's like, I don't know, maybe 500 feet in between us. And like my pride kicked in. And I was like, I'm not asking that dude for a cigarette. You know, I'll just wait. You know, such an asshole, right? So I'm just sitting there, and I'm waiting. And literally seconds went by. Or I just had like a duh moment or whatever. That guy is sitting right next to me. His name was Raph. He's a man of God.
Wow. And
he had a company, and he started talking to me, and he wanted me to go do some labor work with him. And, you know, Hi, Mama. That's Elaine's mother.
Hi, Mama. And there's Grandmama.
Yep. So,
So
he starts talking to me or whatever, and I tell him I believe in God and stuff, and I tell him about the ride, and he's like, well, if the ride's if it's not going to come or whatever, like you can come and work for me, like I'm going to give you $5 for lunch whether or not you come with me, blah 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 blah. So I'm like, okay, well, can I have a cigarette? He's like, yeah. He's like, let me just go inside and make these keys, and then call your friend or whatever, and see if you're if you can come work with me. I'm like, all right. Well, I wasn't going to work with him. My mind was already made up. I was BSing. And so I'm sitting there. Next thing I know, this lady that I had saw 45 minutes before is walking towards me and has something in her hand. She's like this, and she's walking. She's walking a beeline to me. And I mean, I could see it like it was yesterday. And she comes up to me and she says, sir, God told me to bring this to you. I said, what? Crazy. God didn't tell you to bring me. And this is what's going on in my mind at first. And it was like a bacon, egg, and cheese from Burger King. She said, this is all I could afford. Wow. But God wanted me to give this to you. He has a message for you. Wow. Today is the beginning of the end of your suffering. That was true. Wow. There's always going to be suffering in life, but the suffering that I was going through then, that's over. I don't suffer that way anymore. Wow. All glory be to Christ. I really, I'm the man I am today because of God, not because of me. I'm not good. God's good.
Right.
And if he can change my life and my attitude,
right. He can change anyone, right?
He can change anybody.
Amen.
But you have to do the work.
Ooh,
you have to do the work. I always thought that, praying to God, like God was going to fix me like that. It was going to be some magical shit on the TV that you see. Well, guess what? God doesn't work that way.
Nope.
Okay. Everything has its precise time and meaning and reason. Yeah. And so, and God knows what's good for you and what isn't good for you. So something that we want, that our flesh wants, that we think is good for us, right? God knows different. So that's why that prayer doesn't get answered. But I'll tell you right now, God has answered my prayers. He has. Okay, when Elaine was going to leave me and start dating other people and whatever, and I was freaking out and going crazy, I turned to God. And one night she was sleeping. I laid my hand on her and I prayed and I said, Father, I said, if it's your will, please turn her heart back to me. I love her. I want to marry her. Like, I don't want to be without her. Right. 2 days later, we wake up and she looks at me and she goes, Justin. I said, yeah. She goes, I really, really love you and don't want to be with anybody else. And I'm like, for real? Like, what are we doing here? Like, are we back together? Like,
I'm glad because I know every time you talk about her, the heavens light up.
She's my other half, and I'm not saying that because she's standing right there. We have our fights. She's snippy, I'm snippy, but
for yourself, don't be well, let me tell you something. I'm happy because. When I see people in love, you can tell by the way they talk about their other person. Yeah. And their spirit's always up. And it seems like, and I didn't know you all that long, but I know since I know the day that she walked in, you're always on the up and you're always trying to be positive. Even if something knocks you down, you're always trying to spin it some good way.
Well, I mean, for instance, this week, I had 2 days, man, where my emotions became unmanageable. The first step of Alcoholics Anonymous is we admit that we were powerless and admit that our lives have become unmanageable, right? So, like, I know I'm powerless. I have power through admitting that I'm powerless because of the grace of God. Okay, but. Right. And there's the unmanageable part. Now, yes, my life was unmanageable when I was doing drugs. Right. Okay. Now my life is manageable. Okay. I pay my bills. I do what I'm supposed to, the best I can, all of that. But there's that other part where you become emotionally unmanageable, where that could lead you to a drink or a drug. Yes. So I was like this for a couple of days, and I hadn't went to a meeting, and I talked to my sponsor, and I just my insecurity, trust issue, all of it,
Right.
all of it.
Right.
And I don't want to be mean, and I don't want to take it out on anybody. So I don't say anything. I'm very quiet, but it affects my household. It affects everybody around me. So I have to find a better way to do that. Because I didn't really know what was going on. And then I went and I sat in a meeting. I went straight from work to a meeting, and I shared. And I said in the meeting, I said, I really don't want to effing be here right now. Excuse my language, but I'm glad I'm here. And I said whatever I said afterwards. And actually that meeting, they were talking about step one. And I had said, like, it like dawned on me, like, as I was speaking, my emotions are unmanageable. That's why I feel all freaking stupid right now.
Well, I was going to say, I have it when we get up there, I got a good trick for you. And it has to do with energy and light. I forgot Bob Proctor, who just passed away, God rest his soul. He talks about that, and they talk about it in secret. If basically it's a Tanya's version, if you're not charged up and you don't have a place, a charging station, that's what happens. You get drained. And if the energy is not put into the right category, it can become a depression rather than, okay, I'm going to make another book today, or I'm going to do this at work today, or I'm going to.
And I mean, when I'm not going to speak for anybody else. When I'm in those modes or whatever, if I'm watching, like, if God speaks very clearly about this, to like be careful of what we intake into our body, not just food and drinks and stuff like that, but also the stuff that we watch and we listen to. Yeah. These things have pre-programming, and I mean governments have been studying this stuff, and they use it against us all the time.
Absolutely.
So I'm today, Elaine and I, we went into a store, right? Mm-hmm. And listen, everybody can believe what they want to believe. I'm not judging you or anything like that, but I know what offends my God. Right. And I know that these idols and these things, they're offensive to God. And I've never been this way before. Right. And I go into the store and I'm literally cringing, and Elaine's looking at me and she's going, "Are you all right?" Like, yeah, she's like, God, right?
What was it?
There was like Buddhas, and then there was a big statue of Shiva, who's the destroyer, right? Who's one of the bloodlines of the fallen angel. She's part of the Nephilim bloodline. Right. So I know all of these things. I'm not going to talk about that stuff now because it's an addiction thing, but we can do another podcast on fallen angels and all that craziness.
I'll do that one because
I'll tell you right now, if you really read your Bible and interpret it like literally, but before you read it, you ask God to send you the Holy Spirit for understanding, and you start reading some of those things, stuff starts to open up. And really, we have a very supernatural God in a very supernatural world. There's a veil over us where we can't see a lot of these things. If you're starting to see now, the veil's starting to be lifted, more UFO sightings, more abductions, and all that kind of stuff. Right. So, I mean, stuff's getting real.
It's about to get really real. My favorite book in the Bible is Revelations. And that's
I wrote a rap song on it.
I call myself, some people say it's not good to say that. And my mom used to be like, don't say that. But a third eye, which we all have, a gut instinct, we all have it. It's just some of us were literally born with veils over our face, I'll just say, or we can see things more than others.
There are some people that God has given the gift to see those things and to help people and to detach people. Listen, I believe in the Bible. I believe in God. I believe in the devil. I believe Lucifer. I don't believe Satan and Lucifer are the same being. Right. It's very clear that it's not, that they're not, or whatever. There's a hierarchy in all of this, in this spiritual realm.
Right. Uh-oh. Did I just lose my Justin? Uh-oh. Give me 1 second, guys. What I'll do is go to a video, and hopefully he'll come back. I want to play these 3 TikTok videos. Justin?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. I was going to go to these 3 TikToks I want to show.
Okay.
On addiction. One is my friend Tara Dowling. She's going to be one of my speakers May 20th for our Zoom for foster kids, talking about addiction. Her mom died of addiction, but she's doing this great documentary on addiction. And I'm just going to share a piece of it. It's a piece with her mother. So she puts trigger warning, even though she's not doing anything, but maybe the talk or something, perhaps what she said was that. And then a young lady who actually ended up homeless because of her addiction. and then this wonderful, I forgot his name. His name's on here. The doctor that speaks about addiction and trauma. Okay, so let's just check that out, and then we come back. We'll kick it some more about what role faith plays in staying sober when we come back.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
So give me a minute. I'm going to put these up, and
Right.
then first put the homeless girl up, and then no, I'll put Tara. No, the homeless girl up first, and then Tara.
Okay.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
19.
Yeah.
And are you homeless right now?
Yeah.
How long have you been homeless?
Like maybe 3 years now.
3 years?
Mhm.
So since you were 16?
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, it
Are
is.
you born and raised out here in Phoenix?
No, I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. And then I came out here when I was 12, 13-ish. And, you know, it's been kind of hard since, but it's not too bad.
And how did you end up homeless?
Honestly, it was by choice. I've always been, like, defiant and, like, rebellious, I guess. And I don't know, I never really chose to listen to anybody but myself, so I don't know.
Did you have both
Just seemed
parents
comforting.
when you were growing up or not?
No, I didn't. I didn't really have either one of my parents, really. My mom was always by my side throughout the whole time, but, you know.
I look absolutely ravishing, don't I, in this?
Are you afraid of dying?
Mm-mm.
Why not?
No, I'm just scared if I die and I haven't done what I'm supposed to do.
What are you supposed to do?
Well, I don't know, Tara, but just don't want to die without having to, you know, accomplished something. Finish this movie or, you know. No, I don't think about dying. That's just a silly thing to think. You know, at times I do, because I wonder about the after death. And I wonder what's going to happen to my soul.
Have you ever questioned why your life turned out this way?
No. Yes, of course I have. I don't know why, though. Why I'm an addict and you're not. Not that.
No, I know.
You know what I mean? What made me different, yeah.
Do you appreciate what I'm doing with the film?
I think it's wonderful. I think and if it can save one person and get one family to understand each other, then it's worth every embarrassing moment of you coming to my door. Thank you.
Trauma creates coping mechanisms. Now, one of the ways that we cope when children are traumatized, one of the ways they cope with it is to soothe themselves, and then that's where addictions come in. But another way to cope would be is if you get the message that you're not good enough, that you are not worthy enough, then you might spend the rest of your life trying to prove that you are. And how do you do that? By being very nice to everybody. By never saying how you feel, because they might not like how you feel. By never expressing healthy anger when somebody's crossing your boundaries. By working too hard to prove that you're worthwhile. That's why I was a workaholic doctor, because I got the message as an infant, as a Jewish infant under the Nazis in the Second World War. I got the message that the world didn't want me, I wasn't good enough. Well, then you spend the rest of your life compensating by taking on too much, and you're stressing yourself. And those stresses have an impact on your physiology. They have an impact on your immune system. They have an impact on your cardiovascular system, on your heart, on your nervous system. They can cause disease. So most diseases that most of my colleagues, the physicians, think they're just random, arbitrary diseases, they're not random or arbitrary at all. They're the result of life-strong stresses that result from a child's attempt to compensate.
Addiction is this thing. I'm back. It's Tanya. You're watching On the Town, and I'm with Justin Mantel. We're talking about addiction. We're back. You're good, Jess?
I'm good. My manager at work, he wanted to see the podcast, so he was trying to get in.
Oh.
I can't get in there. I was like, "Do you have a Facebook?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, what's your name?" He's like, "Well, what do you mean? Like, I'm old."
Oh no!
So I had to. Yeah, I got it to him or whatever.
You got it to him. Okay, good. But I put it on your page.
Yeah.
That was it.
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you so much.
Good, yeah. So you saw all those TikToks. My friend Tara, I'm doing a former foster survivors book tour panel on May 20th for foster youth. And I don't know if you know, I ended up in foster care because due to my mother's addiction. So that's where my addiction work always comes in, and I went to school and became a case IT and, that whole thing. But she's going to be speaking, and she's a documentary. She's a former model too. But she's doing a documentary on addiction that's just powerful.
Well,
and
if she ever needs anybody,
10 years of footage. It's all about her mom.
It's all about her. Oh, okay. Yeah.
She followed her mom through the whole process to show.
Is her mom still alive?
No,
she passed.
But she's blessed that that is amazing to be able to have 10 years of footage when your mom wasn't sober and when she was sober and when she got it together and you got to have a bond with her before she passed is amazing. Amazing. So you guys look out for that.
So speaking of that, an amazing blessing has come into our lives. Actually, 2 amazing blessings have come into our lives. The first one, Elaine's daughter. She moved in with us several months ago. And my daughter, who's 17.
Wait, really?
I'm now allowed to pick her up anytime I want. I had her all weekend. I dropped her off a few hours ago.
I'm so happy. I was going to just ask you about and losing our children and I was just going to ask you to give someone a word of encouragement who may have lost their kids. And what would you advise them to do? So that's so ironic that you said that because I was just going to go there. Yeah. Awesome.
Hold on. He's my manager. Click on the link.
You cannot forget the manager, people. Okay. Well, while you do that, I can go to a video. Do you want me to play your song now with Casey?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So this song, Tanya and I were talking before the broadcast, and so he's not like a close friend of mine or anything like that, but he's a very inspirational rapper. His name is Casey. Makes music, or his rap name's Casey Makes Music. Yeah. He is an amazing person. He does free shows for overdose prevention month. He's toured with Kalichi, I believe, and Joe Nestor. His music is amazing, and I used to do like music therapy at the rehab that I went to. Nice. That helped me save my life, and a lot of his music I used, and this song is amazing. And the video, if you have kids around or whatever, probably not let them, it's not that, but I just want to put a warning on it. It's a little graphic.
Is it? How graphic? Okay.
Not super graphic, but you see somebody overdosing. I mean, you don't see like a needle going into their arm or anything.
Okay, nothing. It's a warning. Okay.
It's a PG type deal, but it's an amazing video, and just his words. Also, the other guy that's singing, his name is Jordan Myers, and he's an amazing musician. These guys are awesome. So here we go.
Okay, so here we go. So you got 4 minutes to talk to your boss. Ready? Here we go. I'm gonna go video. Wait, video file. Give me a second. Oh, wait, is that wrong? Sorry, trigger. Your screen is what I'm supposed to be doing. Here we go, guys. Ready? All right, here we go. Let's go. Let's see. I'll put us out.
When you're gone and your life is over, what will they say? What will they say? When you're gone, 'cause you won't get sober, what will they say? What will they say? I don't wanna live life like this no more. I don't. Every time that I say I'll get clean, but I know I won't. I've been battling all this time, it's killing me. And I'm trying to get sober, but it's hard for me.
Let me speak on addiction from the voice of an addict, from someone who's battled to get where they're at, on a chance knowing some never have it. Let me speak for the victims, for the families, the lives that are shattered, for the ones that you say had a choice that they made in their life, so their lives never mattered. This one's for Micah, Michelle, then it's Adam. Ryan almost dying in my car in Lantana as I'm driving. I'm trying to revive him. I'm watching his lights dim. You think that it's mind over matter? It doesn't matter. Disease or a choice, and you tease and exploit, so you squeezing your points. And the person in needs at that teetering point, going deeper when all they really need is a voice. You can do this.
When you're gone and your life is over, what will they say? don't. Every time that I say I'll get clean, but I know I won't. I've been battling all this time, it's killing me. And I'm trying to get sober, but it's hard for me.
I know what it's like to be ran by that instinct inside you that sticks to the lie. I know what it's like to relive all the things that you did till you wished you would die. I know what it's like when you're waking up anxious and sick, and the logical thing is a fix, so you push all the things that you know you should do to the side, cause you just want that high. But I also know what it feels like when you wake up excited for life, when you make that decision within you to live, so you give all that sinew and fight for your life. There's time if there's breath in your lungs, it doesn't matter the depth of your runs. No more living on borrowing funds, no more thinking tomorrow I'm done, cause sometimes tomorrow don't come.
When you're gone and your life is over, what will they say? What will they say? When you're gone, cause you won't get sober, what will they say? What will they say? There are times I tell myself I'm not the only one. I know I'm not alone, and I try to be brave when everything inside you feels like giving up the fight. Oh no, you're not alone, so just try to be brave. When you're gone and your life is over, what will they say? What will they say? When you're gone, cause you won't get sober, what will they say? What will they say? I don't wanna live life like this no more, I don't. Every time that I say I'll get clean and I know I won't. I don't wanna live life like this no more, I don't. Every time that I say I'll get clean and I know I won't. I don't wanna live life like this no more, I don't. Every time that I say I'll get clean but I know I won't.
But you can.
Oof. Wow. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. That was KC. That's a great video. And thank you for the trigger warning. I'm glad you gave it to me beforehand.
No, the video that I saw, I guess I must have missed that part where the blood was. I didn't know that, and I apologize for that.
No, that's okay. We put the trigger. I put the trigger warning just to be safe.
Yeah, but I think it's a very.
That was me.
I think it's a necessary video because
it is.
You know, for me, when I listen to that, like, what will they say when I die? What do I want them to say when I die?
That's it. What
you know what I'm saying? Like when I leave this world, like, what am I going to leave the people with that love me, that are in my life? Yes. Am I going to leave them heartache and oh, he was a shitty person, or am I going to leave them with hope and you know, hey, you know, positive, you know, something positive. And you know, that's what I want my. I guess I don't really care about legacy or anything like that, but you know, that's what I want to be. I want to be an honest, godly man, and you know, we live in a broken world, and it's not easy. It's progress, not perfection. Nope. As much as I want to be perfect,
right?
I'm not, and I've accepted that, and I'm okay with that today. And I gotta accept it and be okay with it every day, but one day at a time.
One day at a time. That's
you
it.
know, another great thing I heard is if one foot's in the past and one foot's in the future, then you're pissing on today. So let's stay in today, right?
That's a very good way to look at it.
Absolutely.
So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Before we went to the break, I asked you about faith and what role it plays in, you know, keeping sobriety. Because I think it plays a big role. I used to have people say, "Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't need to have this. I don't need that." I said, if you don't find some source of spirituality, it doesn't have to be what I believe, But you better believe there's something better than you. If you think
Absolutely.
that you're just it, then you got problems.
Yeah.
And that's for any human being, because we,
Yep.
we all need a charging station, is what I call it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You got to power up. If you don't power up, you're going to die out eventually,
Absolutely.
So what do you think, what role do you think faith plays in, in staying sober? You know what I'm saying? Because it's very easy to relapse, especially after pandemic and during these times, and so many good excuses.
So faith is everything in sobriety, and faith. I there's a saying, like, walk by faith and not by sight, and it's, to me, that's important. It lets me know that there's things that I can't see, but if I have faith, those things can't touch me. Like if I have faith in a higher power, then I have faith in myself, right? Because my higher power created me. I believe my higher power created everybody and everything. So if he created me, then and I have faith in him, then I have faith in myself. And the more faith that I have in God, the more strength that I get from God. I've been through a lot. My fiance and I have both been through a lot these last 2 years. A lot.
Yes. And you said, go ahead.
And it's been tough. It's been hard. And there's been times where I didn't want to live anymore. And there was times where I just couldn't get out of bed. I didn't want to get out of bed. But faith is what kept me going. That little bit of faith that I had, that I didn't know I had, kept me going. I did end up breaking down, and it was good that I broke down, because breaking down, you find yourself in those moments.
Yes.
And not only did I find myself, but God found me in that moment. And God has always been there. I reflect a lot on the past, or not a lot on the past, but I reflect on the past for growth, not for downing myself or demeaning myself anymore. That's something my sponsor and I have talked about a few times, because I'm very much a person that wants to be accountable for the shitty things that I did.
Right.
I there's people that I owe money to that help me out, that, right now times are tough. So I'm sorry, I can't make that amends yet, but when the time is right, I will. I just, that little bit of faith kept me going. And, thank God for that first year of recovery that I had.
Wow.
The foundation that I had built with my first sponsor, with doing the 12 steps and being of service, even though, there was a lot of ego there for me. I wanted to be the poster boy for recovery and all that kind of stuff. And that's not what it's about.
Right.
It's not about me. It's about everyone else.
Absolutely. I tell people that every day.
And in it being about everyone else, it lifts me up. Okay, it lifts my spirit up. It energizes my spirit. If one person tonight that's listening, that's using drugs or drinking alcohol, that's miserable and hates God and hates everybody and hates themselves, if that one person hears one thing that you and I have said tonight, that's gonna maybe click something in their brain, and they're like, you know what, I need treatment. I'm gonna go get some help. And anybody that's listening, if you're in the Danbury area of Connecticut, or in Connecticut at all, reach out to Tanya if you want some help, and she can direct you to me. I'd be more than happy to help. I only help men, okay, but I can direct the women to a woman that can help them.
Right.
I'm a firm believer in men with the men and women with the women, especially in early sobriety. Elaine and I, we're in early sobriety, but we've been together for over 2 years. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's why, we keep, it's almost 3 years.
Wow. Yeah. I was going to say, it's been before the pandemic.
Yeah. October of this year will be 3 years.
Yeah.
That we've been together.
Wow.
It's been a ride. It's been tough for the both of us. And, it's amazing how God, when you have faith and you pray, how things change. And another thing I want to say to anybody that's listening, that's an alcoholic or a drug addict, if you don't change what's going on inside of you, you're never going to get sober. If you're not willing to change what's going on inside of you, you're going to have a very, very hard time getting sober. a very hard time. Okay,
Absolutely.
you have to be willing to go to any lengths to get sober.
That's right.
Okay, so if that means that you got to sit in a freaking sobering center with 21 other people with animals and dogs and whatever, because that's where you got to wait to go to a 28-day program or a 3-month program, whatever it is that your plan is, that's where you need to be.
That's right. Yeah, and like, you know, one of my my reconners used to say to me, well, Ms. Cooper, the same way I went out and I fought to get the drug, I got to fight to keep my sobriety.
Absolutely.
Said, thank you for saying that, because that's exactly how I feel. You got to
absolutely. Listen, there's days where it's like, what's the point in this? But then you think about it. There's a big point. Look, I look at everything that I have in my life right now. I don't have a lot, but what I do have is a blessing from God. My job, my manager, the guys that I work with at work, my home life with my fiance, my future stepdaughter, my daughter being back in my life. Like, it's a big deal, especially with my daughter being back in my life. My daughter hasn't been in my life in 16 years. I gave her to my sister when she was 1.5 years old. Okay, my daughter's going to be 18 in 9 days, and I have her back in my life, and I'm able to be a part of the solution instead of the problem like I used to be. Right. I handle things a lot differently. And with Elaine with me, it's even better, because when I'm not, when maybe I'm a little off or whatever on something, she'll pull me aside and talk to me. She did that to me last night, and she was 100% right. So I'm very fortunate. I have a great fiance who, let me tell you something, this girl works hard for her recovery. Sponsor, talks to her sponsor every day, goes to a meeting every single day of the week. And on the weekends, sometimes we do 4 meetings on the weekends.
Wow.
Yeah, and she goes in at 7:15 in the morning every day to a meeting. Wow. So, you know, she works very hard, and she's an inspiration for me.
Yes.
You know, and it's funny how the tables turn. When I met her, I was coming up on 1 year and she had a few months or a few days or whatever. I didn't know that. But, you know, now she's, you know, she's got 8 months and she's doing book work, and there's such a change in her, and there's so much beauty, and she wants to help. You know, women and all that kind of stuff. And it's amazing to see. It's amazing to see her relationship with her daughter blossom. Right. It's amazing. She's so great with my daughter. You know, my daughter is having a hard time in life. You know, she didn't know that I was her father for a very, very long time. She thought I was her uncle. Right. And it was, you know, I still wasn't around. You know, my sister kept me out of her life, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. I was not doing the right things, and my daughter did not need to see that person that I was. Right. And I'm happy that she didn't get to see that person, and that she didn't have to experience that. Right. You know, I'm sure she's experienced other things that have, you know, I know that there's some other things that have happened in her life that have been traumatic and stuff. But my sister loves her, and you know, she's very well taken care of. So, you know, she's going to be, you know, there's some things going on, and, you know, that my sister's not happy about or whatever. And that, you know, that's normal. Right. But when my daughter graduates high school, she's going to have to leave my sister's house, you know, because she wants to do what she wants to do. And she, you know, boys and, you know, drinking a little bit. And, you know, so I've introduced her to Alcoholics Anonymous. Not last weekend, but the weekend before, I had her the whole weekend. She did 3 meetings with us that weekend. This weekend, we did 2 meetings, and her and I spent a lot of time together. But Elaine is amazing with her. Elaine makes her feel like she's her daughter. She has a good bond, you know, starting to, you know, have a bond with her and everything. It's a beautiful thing. So these are the blessings and the promises that happen when you decide to take your head out of your ass. Okay. And take your head out of your ass. Stop thinking that you know everything and that everything that you do is right and correct. Right. And just shut up and listen. Right. And take some suggestions, because people that are in these rooms of the 12-step programs, you know, I choose, you know, Alcoholics Anonymous because I identify as an alcohol. Alcohol was always there whether the drugs were there or not. Alcohol was always there. Right. So, you know, you know, when my sponsor suggests something to me, it's stupid for me not to at least take it into consideration. Right. Right. You know, So I take those things into consideration. And him and I have talked. I told him, I said, there's going to be things that you're going to tell me that I don't want to do, that I don't think are right for me, and I'm going to tell you.
Right.
And, it's okay. Like I love my sponsor. He's awesome. Yeah. And we're taking things slow. I don't want to rush anything this time. I'm very cautious of my ego and that self-centeredness, because I can make things about me real quick. I mean, look, I'm on a podcast and making it all about me.
No, well, not really.
I'm kidding. It's a joke. This is I'm not really. The difference from this podcast, from previous podcasts that I've done with you, is this time it's not about me. Right. I'm here because I want to help somebody else.
Right. And that's
there's a lot of people suffering, and that fentanyl is coming over the border like crazy.
Ooh, can I tell you about that? And now they're putting on a marijuana, so kids are.
I know somebody. I know somebody who's sponsoring somebody. Mm-hmm. Wife, kids, or wife. She was pregnant. Mm-hmm. He was. I think maybe coming up on a year sober. He went out with the boys. They smoked a joint. He overdosed on fentanyl because there was fentanyl on the joint. They're putting it in the cocaine. They're putting it in the crack. They're doing all it. It's going in everything.
One of my friend's son, he was smoking marijuana, and that's how he died of fentanyl overdose. It's like, wow. I mean, if I could tell you how many people have OD'd.
So the statistic, as I know it, as of right now, or my information right now, it's over 100,000 people that had died in the year 2021 from fentanyl overdoses. Okay, so if there's something that's a pandemic or an epidemic, I think that it would be this.
Yeah. Well, you see, well, I know we're not going to go too much into politics. We're not going to go into politics, but I see that Biden and them are giving money for what do they call it? Now, I don't want to subscribe to the part where people say they give it for crack pipes, because that's not true. But he is putting money into the drug program, in the prevention. What's it called? Oh my God, I just totally blanked out.
I know what you're talking about, but it's like a prevention box. It's a needle,
but clean needle program.
Yeah.
But I personally, even when I was a counselor, I don't like them. I don't ascribe to them, because I understand the half part is, yes, they're getting clean needles, and yes, we can cut down on AIDS. But the other half says to me, that's not good to be like, here, just go ahead and have a ball and come back whenever you're ready. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, look at New York City. They have a couple places where you can go. Yeah. You can give them your dope and have them check it for fentanyl or whatever, and then you can go shoot up right there in the place.
Yeah, I think that's
why are we can't condone this behavior. No. We can't make it easier for people to use drugs.
Exactly.
Okay? I don't mean that to be mean.
Right.
Because my heart breaks for anybody that suffers from addiction, depression, body image problems, all of that stuff, because I suffer from those things.
Right.
I'm a happy person for the most part.
Right.
But I have my days where I'm not, where I'm drained.
Right.
I am an empath, and I feel other people's emotions. And, that was a big part of my drug use too, was I would get these feelings that I didn't know where they were coming from, and they weren't my own. And they would become my own. Right. And if you look at it, it's a self-medication. The drugs stop that stuff,
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, so I just when I wake up in the morning, I don't do it every morning, but I get on my knees and I pray. Right. Getting on my knees and praying is a very, very hard thing for me to do. Right. It's a very humbling thing to do.
Right.
And the God that I believe in wants you to come to him humbly. And I think that's the best way for me to go to God. But I have a hard time with it. I'm working on it. It's hard to be humble.
Right.
It's hard to be humble when you have ego, and my ego comes from insecurity, not because I think I'm, not because I think great things about myself. It's to kind of, I guess, balance that insecurity that I have. But what happens is the ego's too strong and it takes over everything.
Yes.
So like when I prayed tonight, I got on my knees and I prayed tonight before I did the podcast with you, and I asked God to let me be an instrument,
right.
And whatever was going to come out of my mouth was going to be something that he would want me to say, or that he would say to help somebody to come to him, and get sober. I mean, of course you got to. It's not just going to Christ. There's work that has to be done.
Yes. I mean,
You
you
know
have
what
to
I'm
take
saying?
steps. All the steps have to be taken.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe that God will meet you halfway.
Yes.
Okay. He will always meet you halfway. He's always there. He'll
Mm.
meet you halfway, but you have to do the work to get to him.
Yes.
You know, like, I mean, I look at it this way, right? This is how I look at God. I look at God as like a dad, right? Like he's a dad. So if I do something wrong, there's going to be consequences for it. If I do something right, there's going to be blessings for it. Okay. I may want something, but he's going to tell me no because it's not right for me, and he knows what's best for me. You know, like a parent.
Right.
And when I do things that transgress against him, it hurts him, and it upsets him, and it makes him angry with me. And but thank God for forgiveness,
right?
Because he forgives, and if God can forgive you, then you can forgive yourself. I've done some terrible things in my life. And I'm not a terrible person. I was on a bad path, and I made a lot of stupid, bad decisions, and some terrible things came out of it. And my behaviors were not good, but that's not who I am. Those were behaviors and things that were happening because I wasn't in the right mind, you know. And now I'm slowly forgiving myself for these things.
Right.
And my little sister, I'm responsible in part for my sister's death. I'm not taking it as, oh, I'm responsible, poor me, pity party. No, that's not what's going on here.
Right.
What I'm saying is that my sister, I was an example. I was her big brother.
Right.
I gave her first line of dope.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And she hated me for it. She hated me for years for it. I wasn't the one that got her to shoot up. It wasn't anything that continued. It was a few times, whatever. Nothing. I didn't get her addicted or anything. She didn't like it.
Right.
And then when she started to shoot, then her and I, we became partners in crime, and we did a lot of stealing and dirty stuff together. And I should have been better than that. I should have said, no, this isn't right. Let's move on a different path,
Right.
And I didn't. And I do believe everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
And my sister dying in our condo, or in the condo that we were renting, as much as it broke me in ways and broke my heart, I'm also grateful for that, because that was the moment that I became the brother that I was supposed to be.
Right.
Okay. That's when I believe God laid his hand on me, because I was able to pull my sister out of that bathroom, and I did everything in steps. I said, okay, we need to call the police. Called the police, found out what to do. When the ambulance came, now I need to call my mom. Now I need to call. And I was very calm about everything. And when I was working on my sister and pumping her chest, it seemed like an eternity. And I can still see myself over her, and tears coming down my eyes. And thank God for the EMTs. They got there in a very timely, very quickly. It was like 3 minutes, right? 3-4 minutes.
Wow.
And they did the best they could. They actually got her heart back. Fortunately, she was out for so long that her brain was dead, and then she would have probably been a vegetable. So as a family, we decided that it was best to pull the plug on her. I'm grateful that my sister isn't here, that she didn't have to go through the pandemic, because she was with somebody that was abusive and used to beat the crap out of her and would feed her drugs so that he could have sex with her, but then call her a drug addict whore. And, she was totally broken by this guy. He was not a nice person, and he's somebody, I got to pray for. That's going to be very hard to do. Him and Joe Biden, very hard to do. I'm just kidding.
Don't worry. It's hard for me to pray for my abuser, my former abuser. So don't worry.
I had to throw that in there.
Listen, I always say we're a work in progress.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you something about that. I strongly believe that, like when my brother passed, I tried to find some way to make that into something that wouldn't be so sad every year. So I help foster kids in his name every year, and I give them scholarships. Maybe with your sister, one day when you get settled and you get things right,
but this is
you can do something in her name, that in her honor.
Is me doing this podcast.
Yes,
this is for her. This is for Jesse. This is for Drew. This is for Jamie. This is for Chuck. Who? Oh, and my roommate Sean, my roommate from the sober house, he died about 4 months ago of an overdose.
And what's your sister's name?
Sean.
Sean, what's your sister's name? Your
No,
sister?
no, Asia was my sister's name.
Asia.
Asia was my sister's name. Jesse was my best friend that died 6 weeks after her. Drew was the kid that would have been a famous musician like Juice World. And one day, I mean, I have his music and I'll play it for you. Him and my best friend, three or 4 months before they died, they actually did a song called "I Don't Know." You can find it on SoundCloud.
Oh, really? Let me write it. I don't.
It's actually IDN. I mean, IDK. It's abbreviated IDK. Yeah. And it's Drew Funk and Scarfo B. Drew Funk is Drew, and Scarfo B is my best friend Jesse. It's a great song. I love it.
I'll put it up there, guys, if you want to check it out. And where do they find it? On Spotify?
You can find it on SoundCloud. Just type in Drew Funk, and there's a bunch of songs. You can check out Toxic. That song's awesome. I think he sounds like The Weeknd when he's singing.
Okay.
He has another. There's so many songs. There's another song that's called "F the Moon."
Okay.
It's great. For 24 years old, this kid had an old soul, and he was very deep and a very deep thinker, and it showed in his music. He produced every bit of music that you hear from him, I think, except for Toxic. He produced and mastered, and I mean, I watched him do this stuff.
Wow.
I don't know if Kristen's listening. Kristen, if you're listening, I love you, and so does Drew. Kristen was Drew's mom, and she's an amazing lady and a very strong woman. She's very active with addiction and trying to get things done. And but like you were saying before, you know, this is what I want. This is why I'm here, is to speak for the people that aren't. You know, I've been blessed to be the person that can carry the message and not be the message.
Right.
You know, those people are the message. If you don't do the work, you're going to die eventually.
That's right.
Okay. And today it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Okay. Right. Because whatever is going on in this world, and I'm not going to go into what I believe, but whatever is going on in this world, the good people, the people that do believe in God and but that are having trouble and all that kind of stuff, that have trouble with addiction, they're trying to kill us. I mean, they're flooding the streets with fentanyl. This drug is a killer. This much can kill you.
Yes.
See, when 7 months ago when I had my relapse, I did a very tiny bit of fentanyl and I fell out. I'm 6'4". Wow. You know, I was probably 190 pounds or whatever because I was doing something else that I shouldn't have been doing. But you know, like, I mean, and you know, when Elaine came out of rehab and she when I went to visit her, she said, "You got real skinny." I said, "Yeah, I've been fasting," and that was true. I wasn't lying, but
right,
other things going on too.
Right.
You know, and she knew, and she wasn't stupid. And when we met, I was this strong, like, recovery guy, and you know, I had lost all that, and I'm glad that I did, because it stopped being from a good place.
Right.
You know, and today I believe that it's coming from a good place. I genuinely want to help people. I genuinely want to have a good life. I want to be an example for the people around me. And I want to be, like I said earlier, who God wants me to be. And I think I'm becoming that man a little bit each day.
Yes.
You know, nothing happens overnight. Everything that is worth anything takes work. Another thing I will say, a saying that I love, is if you want something that you never had, you're going to have to do something that you've never done.
That's it.
So that means you're going to have to do some work, man.
That's it. Well, Justin, I thank you so much for hanging out with us today. And
absolutely, anytime.
On recovery. And I'm so happy for you and Elaine, and you're both got your kids back. So for anybody that's out there who thinks that, you know, it's impossible to get your kids back, or it's impossible to have a relationship with them, it's not impossible if you do the work. So I want people to know that, because a lot of people say, "Oh, I give up because my kids," and I was like, "Don't give up because of your kids. Maybe you know, God wants you to get your stuff together." And then,
when you're in recovery, there's a certain amount of selfishness that you have to have, and that selfishness is my recovery above everything. Because if I don't have my sobriety, then I am going to lose everything that I got in my sobriety.
Exactly.
Okay, and I've experienced it. In September, I was losing everything. Everything was going.
Right.
Everything. And I made a decision to really take a look at myself and to really make sure that this was the path that I wanted to keep going on, or if I wanted, something better.
Right.
And I knew that that Elaine being sober and me being sober was something better. I didn't get sober for Elaine. I didn't get sober for anybody. I got sober for me.
Yourself.
I was tired of being miserable, and I was tired of running and cowering from the people that I lost, and from myself. I started hating myself again. Praise Jesus, Elaine said. Amen to that.
I love her. I love you, Elaine. Elaine, I love you, girl. Wherever you're at in there, washing the dishes. I hear you.
She's actually cooking dinner for us right now.
Oh, what are we eating? What are we eating?
We're having rotisserie chicken, mashed potatoes, corn, and brown gravy.
Oh man, I can't have the chicken, but I can have the gravy and mashed potatoes.
So we eat like a little bit of chicken,
okay,
but we don't do we really don't do meat. Like for burgers and stuff, we get like the Morningstar like black bean burgers and or like and then we all and tofu. I freaking love tofu.
I know, but tofu is not good long term. Let me tell you why. It's a soy-based product which causes estrogen dominance in your body. So
I got to share.
Don't have too much soy, and definitely don't give it to your kids. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
that's another discussion one day.
Absolutely.
Sobriety and changing our eating habits.
Absolutely. I mean, I put back on 35 pounds.
Wow.
I'm like
afford it at 6'4".
Yeah, I mean, I'm like 225, like 220, 225, something like that now.
Okay.
And like it's not muscle or anything like that. Like it's a little bit of fat. And like we live in a very beautiful apartment building, and there's some amenities here. We have an in-ground pool, an outdoor in-ground pool, but we also have a gym. Right. You would think that I have a gym that's right there, that I would get up off my ass and I would go, but I don't.
Actually, that's one of the tools of recovery is exercise. I think it helps.
I totally agree with you. So I have a hard time with balance, right?
That's okay.
So so I'm up every day, probably around 4:30 in the morning. My body just wakes up.
Yeah, you look like you don't sleep too much.
yeah, I don't. I mean, I like this weekend we slept a little bit. Like today we slept I think until about 9:30. But like I wake up. Yeah. But I wake up, like I was up at 4:30 and I'm watching what's going on Ukraine, and I'm like, oh my God, these poor people. And, and then like, I'm like, I got to go back to sleep. So then like I go and I try to like snuggle up next to Elaine to calm down. And she punches me. No, I'm just kidding. She doesn't do anything. He looks up at me and she's like, get away. No, I'm kidding. She never does that, actually. Actually, I'm very, very lucky. This is a woman who will take any bit of affection that I give her. Yeah. And, she's just amazing, man. Like really,
I love Elaine. Really I love all things Elaine. So
yeah, me too. and guess how tall Elaine is?
How tall, Elaine?
5'2".
What?
5'2".
Does not look good walking down the street.
Actually, we look very good.
I'm teasing you, like hello. It's like your neck probably hurts a lot.
No, I know that she's short. Obviously I know she's shorter than me. So like I'll and I have 100 pounds on her. Oh. But I'll tell you right now, we work very well together, and we're very lucky because relationships in recovery are not easy.
Right.
And they can be dangerous. They could one person it could take somebody out.
Yes.
I don't see that with Elaine and I. And maybe it's because I'm, love blind or whatever. People can say whatever. But with what I see her doing, with her sobriety is her own. Right. Like we don't even really sit together when we go to meetings together.
Right.
Because it's not about us. It's about our recovery. And we know the only way that our relationship and our family is going to work is going to those meetings and doing what is suggested in those meetings. And they're not hard things. People like me, we like to complicate shit real I mean, shit gets complicated real quick in my brain.
Right.
And it causes me to pull away. Like I'm not doing that. Like, but if I talk about it If I call my sponsor and tell my sponsor I'm confused about something, he's gonna help me to not be confused, or excuse me, sharing the meeting that I'm confused about. So, like there's people out there like myself that really, really want to help. And when you come into those rooms and they tell you, we will love you until you love yourself, believe that shit.
Yes.
Because they do.
That. I've seen that.
Okay?
That's real.
They do.
That's
okay?
real.
It's very real. I came back with my tail between my legs, and nobody said nothing. Nobody judged me. Nobody looked down upon me. Right. And if they did, I didn't care.
Right.
Because it's not about that. It's about my life.
Right.
And my life I was going to lose my life. And like that song says, what would people have said about me if I would have lost my life back in August? What would people said about me? I don't want to be another statistic. No. I don't want people to, he died of an overdose. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how I want to go out.
Right. No.
I want to go out fulfilling whatever my purpose is here on this earth.
And you have a big purpose. I see it.
Whether it's big or small, it doesn't matter to me. Just as long as I do what God has put me here to do. And I have a lot to learn. I have a lot of growth. I am nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm not where I was. And I'm grateful for that because I can bring myself to really, really bad places. We all can. And I choose one day at a time not to do that anymore. And I have so much to live for. I mean, you can see behind me, like, that's beautiful. This is what I get to, when I wake up in the morning and I come out of the bedroom, that's the first thing that I see in the morning, like besides my beautiful, future wife, which, that's awesome too. So that's probably the most awesome thing. She said, hey,
hey, you're cooking that chicken.
Yeah, right. I have a lot to be grateful for, and then I have these four amazing cats. Puma, Harley, Frank, and Betty. She's Betty White. God rest her soul, Betty White. But she's, and Elaine's daughter.
Simple things, right? That makes things
absolutely. Elaine's daughter is amazing. She's such a smart, intelligent young 15-year-old. She had made me a card for my birthday, and she said some beautiful things in there that I hold very, very close to my heart.
What's your birthday, Justin?
January 25th. I turned 40 years old.
Oh, you're Aquarius? You're Aquarius?
I'm an Aquarius on the rise, actually.
That's why you and I get along. You're Pisces. Are you Pisces? Pisces?
No, I'm Aquarius.
That's Aquarius. I'm Aquarius. I'm February 9th. That's why.
Okay, so Elaine is February 5th. She's an Aquarius. Elaine's an Aquarius too. She's February 5th.
Water signs. Woo, water will roll. We can form into anything. I love it.
So yeah, I mean,
amazing.
I just want to be there to help people, and if I can do that, I will. Also, I guess I'm gonna announce it on here. It's in the works. It's gonna take a little bit of time.
Okay.
It may not be this summer, but hopefully it will be definitely next summer. And I want Tanya to be involved with it. Absolutely. Because she does an amazing job and has a lot of knowledge for this kind of stuff. Anyways, but back in 2017, I was in a rehab, and it was in Bridgeport, and that's where I used to live. And here's Puma. You want to see my Puma?
Let me see.
My Puma.
Oh wow, a black cat. She's gorgeous.
That's my boy.
Love him. He's gorgeous. He's blending into your shirt.
Yeah, right.
Where's Puma?
He looks like a panther.
Wow.
Like when he has just such distinct like facial structure. He's such a beautiful cat, and he's so chill. But anyways, so in 2017, I was in this rehab, and while I was in there was this festival going on called Gathering of the Vibes. Okay, and it's a jam band festival with hippies and all that stuff. And I'd been there a couple times when I was like 16 to pick up some weed and some drugs and whatever. At this festival in 2017, I think it was 14 people died of overdoses, and so something happened, it triggered my brain or whatever, and I wanted to make a festival for sober people.
Ooh, yes.
So the festival will be called Serenity Fest.
Ooh, yes.
And
I'm loving it.
I don't. I'm trying. I have stuff written down, and there's things that I want to do. But the first year we're going to go light, because we don't know how it's going to work. And
I have an idea for you when we get off the air.
Okay, and I probably said I won't use GoFundMe, but I will use Give Send Go for donations for the festival. I won't do anything like that until I have a place and all that kind of stuff. And I will keep everybody posted. And I'll probably come on the podcast with you and announce it. I want to work together with you with it. My sponsors, somebody else that I want to be involved because he knows some things. Elaine's managerial skills and all of that. Like, she I want something that I want us to do together. This isn't a me thing. This is a we thing.
Yeah.
And music connects us. And the rapper Casey that you heard, I want to ask him. If you're listening, Casey, that's my asking. I'm just kidding. I will ask you formally, but and so there's some really good music out there that is uplifting. I grew up on gangster rap and all that kind of stuff, and I'll tell you, it did influence me without me knowing it. I wanted to be a gangster. I wanted the money, drugs, hoes, and clothes. I wanted all that, and it was stupid. Because it led me nowhere, it led me nowhere.
Right.
It led me in this fantasy land where I thought I was going to be something that I was never going to be because that's not who I am or who I'm supposed to be. But I
have a new love now, a new music love, and I found I can still like my same genre, but just different people like KC's type, like Maverick City Choir.
Oh my God, the
Zach
song
Williams,
Promises.
Which one? Oh, yes.
Oh my God, I'm in the shower singing that.
What about Gyra? You know that one? What do you know about that?
Yeah.
Zach Williams. Zach Williams. I feel
Zach Williams. Also the Zach Brown band. The Zach Brown band. He has a song "Fear Is a Liar."
Yes, I'm so into this. I mean, is it called Christian rock?
So Skillet came out with a new song. It's called oh my goodness, what is it called? Hold on.
I forgot you're a DJ, so that's why you're into music.
Well, so music is a therapy for me, and I don't use it as much as I used to, because it was music that I was listening to that isn't good for my soul and isn't good for me, and I don't think is good for anybody. But that's not for me to judge or to tell anybody you shouldn't listen to this music. Listen to whatever you want to listen to. Find out on your own.
Right.
I choose to listen to music today that's going to uplift me, that's going to help me on my journey, not bind me from or what's the word I'm looking for? Confining me to one area of my life and be stuck there. Right. I don't want that. Like I have freedom today.
Right.
I have freedom from drugs. I have freedom from this world because I believe in Christ. Right. Now, they may beat my body. They may kill my body. But guess what? That's all right because I don't fear who can kill the body. I fear who can kill the soul. I'm
with you on that one, buddy.
Right? So, I really believe that, stuff that we watch. Now, I watch stuff because I found a love. I love history and all that kind of stuff, but I love finding out about different symbolisms, like symbolism that they used in Babylon and the ancient mysteries, religions, and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm interested in all of that stuff. I know that stuff is real. I just don't, I don't believe it. It goes against, it's against my, God. But anyways, so all of that stuff interests me. So a lot of these movies and stuff that I see, like the Marvel stuff and different stuff on Netflix, I now see these symbolisms like, oh shit, they're like putting it right there in our face and nobody's noticing.
No, the music videos are the best ones.
I mean, you can
find the Grammy Awards and stuff like that. I'm like,
I found out the Emmys.
Yeah.
Whatever that company. No, whatever the company is, the abbreviation for the name, it actually spells Satan.
Hey, listen, nothing shocks me from Hollywood. Are you kidding?
So
Hollywood is the devil's playground. Are you kidding me?
absolutely. Well, I mean,
kidding me?
Holly has to do with pagan worship.
Yeah,
And
no,
I mean, look,
convince me.
I'm gonna tell everybody right now. I had to come to Elaine this past Christmas and tell her this will be the last Christmas I'm celebrating.
Right. I don't
Because
really I'm not a Christmas fan either.
You know, it's not Jesus' birthday.
The concept is just crazy.
Well,
how is it someone's birthday
and I'm getting gifts?
You're getting presents? Because
Yeah.
my kids, I used to tell them, oh, you want to celebrate something? Well, what did you do to celebrate? So we have to go feed the homeless, and then maybe if you're lucky, then maybe you'll get something. But if you're not doing feeding the homeless or doing something good, what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how we look at holidays.
And then if you switch the letters around in Santa, it spells Satan. So he's all red and everything. So but the Christmas holiday is a pagan holiday. It is not a Christian holiday. It is not what we had. Do you know?
Become one. I know. Listen, I know in England they love some Christmas. They would love some Christmas.
Absolutely, but it's a paradigm shift because we've all been trained to celebrate this, and it's such a commercial holiday, and everybody's doing it, and it's like you're weird if you don't. Well, you know what? People that believe in God, that truly believe, we are peculiar people, and we're going to do peculiar things, and we are not going to follow what the rest of the world is doing.
That's it.
I used to follow what the rest of the world was doing, and it led me nowheres. Today, I'm following what God wants me to do, and you know what? I don't always know what God wants me to do. So you know what? There's people in my life that He's put there for me to talk to that can give me some insight and maybe about what I need to be doing. And you know, like I said, the opposite of addiction is connection. Connection to people and connection to God. So the song by Skillet, it's called Anchor. It's a beautiful song. There's another guy called Caleb. It's spelled Caleb. The song's called 12 a.m. I love that song. It's like a newer like hip hop, but it's Christian. Then Corey Ashbury, Reckless Love, beautiful. And then my all-time favorite. It's called
What's it called?
Heart of the Father.
Heart?
Heart of the Father by Ryan Ellis. Ellis. Beautiful song.
Ryan Ellis. Okay, got it. So that way you guys have some songs up there that you can check out. It'll be able to play.
If you want another song that's really uplifting, it makes me want to fight. Not like fight anybody like physically, but it makes me want to fight for my life. It's a song called Enough. Enough, and it's by Social Club Misfits.
All right.
And the chorus is, I was made to walk through the fire. I was born to run through the flames. For me, that's like triumphant. Like that's faith in God, So it's absolutely that's fire.
Exactly. That's straight fire.
Absolutely.
You go first.
So anyway, so Tanya, I want to say to you, I love you. Like, I mean that. I love you. I love you to death. You have been here for me, these past couple years. No matter what, I could call you at any time. I know I didn't use the phone a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I've talked a couple times on the phone, and you know what I've been going through and stuff, or what I had been going through, and you were there with no judgment.
Always got your back, bro. Always.
No judgment. All love.
From the day I met you, I have no idea why, but you are my brother from another mother. And I don't even know who the mother is.
Absolutely. I feel you on that.
I don't know who the mother is, but there's some people you meet and you're like, why? It feels like in a past life that this was like a brother. Like literally. So that's it.
To me, it's God working. It's God connecting His body and His Israel.
Well, the best part is when I send you those songs, you're like, oh, bro, I'm already on it. I'm like, I thought I was doing something great, spectacular.
I'm sorry.
Maverick City Crier. You're like, I've done that.
Come on, I know that.
I have another friend of mine that I grew up with, and I sent him a Zach Williams song. He used to be a drummer when we were younger and play guitar. He loved Kiss. And I've been sending him the Zach Williams and Maverick. He was like, dude, I'm totally on it. I'm all in hook, line, and sinker. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, dude, I'm trying to like be like at the forefront.
There's another guy that I want to promote. He's actually a TikToker.
Okay.
His name is I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's spelled Kieran. I think it's Kieran.
Kieran.
Yeah, it's Kieran the Light. and
L-I?
Kieran the Light,
Oh,
the Light.
Okay.
And he's a Christian rapper, but he's a hard, like he goes hard, and his belief, like he believes the Bible the way that I believe the Bible. He actually in his song, like he has 2 songs, Witchcraft Part 1 and Witchcraft Part 2, and he goes hard. But he has other songs. There's another song called Lightning, which is beautiful, or not beautiful, but it's a really good song. Then he has another song called Hurricanes. Hurricanes is awesome.
Hurricane.
Judgment Day, and Temptations. And I listen to those songs on the regular. There's also another guy. He his name is Taryn Williams or Torrin Williams.
Torrin Williams.
Torrin Williams. He sings a song with a country band, the lead singer from a country band called Rascal Flatts. I love country music. That's from when I lived in Georgia. I got that country in me. But they have a song together called Until Grace. And Torrin is spelled Tauren.
Wait a minute, what did I get here?
Sorry.
Torrin is spelled. I got his name wrong. Oh wait, no. How do you spell it?
Tauren.
Auren.
Wells.
And Williams or Wells?
Wells, not Williams.
Wells. Oh, well, okay.
I probably said Williams because I'm shot, but
that's all right. I'm shot too, but we're way past our time, but it's okay because I had a good time.
Absolutely. And, when we talked the other day, we kind of knew it was going to go over. You're like, well, you know, an hour, maybe. Well, maybe not.
Yeah, definitely, we knew it. We knew it was going down.
We could probably do like a podicon or something like that. Like we're on here for like 8 hours.
Marathon, right? Raise money. Yeah, we'll raise money for something. Yeah, that'll be fun.
But that Torrin Williams song, Until Grace, it's a beautiful song and it's very uplifting. At least for me, it is. And I hope that any of the music that I shared with anybody tonight, that when they listen out there, when they listen to it, I hope that it uplifts you, and I hope that it triggers something to help you to make a change. Change is possible, but you have to do the work in order for the change to happen. Yes. You know, I'm a person that hates change and is scared of change, or used to be that person. It still comes in. I'm human. You know, I'm not. You know, I'll never be perfect, and I'm okay with that.
That's it. Any last advice?
My last advice is to really take a look around at where you live, the people that you have in your life, what's going on in the world, and see that maybe your life isn't as bad as you think it is. And if you want it to change, you can make it change. Stop playing the victim card. It's played out. Let's get to work. Let's make our lives better and make the future for the next generation that's coming, because they're a mess right now.
Yes.
Let's try to make it better for the next one that's coming.
Thank you. That's a good way to end out. I'm gonna leave out with a song, and I thank you so much for being with us. I really do appreciate you.
Anytime.
I'm gonna play a song, or what am I ending with? I said I was ending with a song here. Wait, when you forget about, I did that one. I had to think about it. Hella, I think I'm ending with a song my daughter did actually. Yeah, that's something.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
I'm gonna share the screen and I'll put us off the screen. But while I said that, and then I'll end the show. I appreciate you so much. You can hang out in the green room for a minute, which if you like. Let me get it up. Lord, I forgot how to do this thing. Okay, here we go.
And so when I'm in the green room, can people ask questions and stuff like that?
Can they? I can see if they do. So,
I mean, if you want me to sit, like hang back and hang in the green room, if anybody wants to ask me any questions or needs any information or has any questions for you or for
they won't be able to see you like that. I can I can put you back on for them to answer if they do.
Okay.
Good? Yeah, so that's good. So so just hang out if you want. If you have to run to go eat that good chicken, I don't mind.
Nah, it can wait.
All right.
So Jamie ate it all anyways.
Here we go. I'm gonna play this. Ready? And let me see. Do I got this right? All right. I'm gonna play this song. Wait, which song is it? Okay.
I'm already broken away. I think you'll stay in close cause you love it. I never try to change you in any way. And when we get too close, you just push away. Don't you know I never
So we are back. I thank you very much.
Your daughter is beautiful, and that was talented. That was great. I loved it.
Yeah, she's a singer songwriter too. So I just try to plug her when I can. Got to plug the family.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Elaine. Thank you for letting us borrow Justin for a minute. We appreciate you guys both. One day I'll talk to you. Maybe you'll be in my documentary too. That'd be awesome.
I would love to.
Yeah. So we'll hook up after this. And Justin, don't let me forget to remind you of. I think I have a good location spot for you for that.
Okay. Also, we got to talk about the ghostwriter thing too.
That's right. So let's whenever you make it happen, I'm around. I'm helping somebody with something for the next 2 weeks, but anytime call me.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm out driving and whatever all day for work.
Exactly.
So I can call you. I can call you whenever.
Anytime, bro.
But
Anytime.
yeah, I mean, we'll probably be able to set up something like on the weekends because I'm off Saturday and Sunday.
Exactly. I'm around. I'm here,
right, cool.
brother. I ain't going nowhere.
Me neither.
Except for the heaven when it's time. That's it.
Absolutely.
But thank you guys so much for taking the time, and we're gonna just rock out with this ending, and then hang out for 1 second, and we'll do an official goodbye. Ready?
God bless you.